So we just witnessed another crazy round of World Cup action, the quarters and semifinals. The last time I gave some reflections on the World Cup was the round of 32 and 16 review. Now I'm going to go through the quarterfinals and semifinals. There was all sorts of stuff from quality goals to controversy to late drama, all sorts of stuff, and I will go through all of it in today's episode talking about the World Cup, and of course then I'm going to preview the final as well, talk about my predictions for the predictions that I made for the quarters and semis and the ones that I'm going to make for the final as well. So obviously, if you didn't know, I am Argentinian, so I am in a pretty good mood today because we are making it to the final. We've managed to make it happen. Obviously, as I get to the games, I will talk about the storylines surrounding it and how yeah, it was pretty crazy. So there've been some good games, and of course the tournament's really heated up, and now we're finally at the end here of this World Cup, which was a little bit longer than most World Cups because of course the expansion of it all. Obviously I've talked about it already. You can watch the video that I made. I'll leave it in the description, leave it in the cards, all that kind of stuff because I don't want to be negative, right? There's a lot of negativity, of course, surrounding the World Cup. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the controversies that did happen in the quarters and semifinals. But the point is, like, I'm not trying to focus on that. So you can watch that last video if you want. Of course, you can watch some of the other World Cup content. Maybe I'll put it into a playlist because I definitely made a few episodes talking about the World Cup specifically. I'll think about it, but for now, I'm just going to be talking about the quarter and semifinal, and let's get right into it, right? So let's start with the quarterfinals, right? France versus Morocco. France won 2-0. I'm actually kind of disappointed at Morocco. I thought they would kind of give a little bit more to that game, but France kind of rolled, they just kind of did their thing. They kept on moving. Morocco really rolled over and died, unfortunately. And my prediction was very bold for that game. I wanted Morocco to win, obviously, because I'm not, I don't really like France at all. Obviously, spoiler alert for what happens in the semifinals. I'm pretty happy with what happened. But in this game, Morocco didn't really put up a fuss. I predicted 2-2 and Morocco to win on penalties. That was obviously very bold and very ambitious, and it was probably never going to happen. But France definitely in this game showed their quality, and Morocco just kind of didn't have it. So it's unfortunate for them, but hey. And then you have, if you didn't watch the group podcast that me and my friends did in Niagara, one of my friends predicted that there would be two African nations in the semifinals of the World Cup, and of course, that couldn't be more wrong, right? Especially after that game, I was kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt for it, but his prediction was definitely way more bold than mine. So you can go watch some of those to see just some of the funny fails and actually some good predictions that a few of us made for this tournament. But that one was definitely not a very a very good prediction. But yes, that was kind of what happened. Spain versus Belgium. Spain won 2-1. Belgium actually scored a goal. They were the first team to score against Spain in this World Cup. And I actually didn't expect it. I didn't expect Belgium to actually take them that far. And of course, Mikel Merino being that guy, of course, he destroyed all of Portugal's hopes and dreams. Rest in peace. But like, yeah. You know that meme from SpongeBob where it's like Squidward's going to his grave and he's crying and he's putting the flowers on the grave and the grave says here lies Squidward's hopes and dreams, and yeah, that's pretty much what happened with Mikel Merino scoring late against Portugal in that game. Here lies Ronaldo's hopes and dreams. But so he strikes again against Belgium. But Belgium actually put up a fight. They actually tried hard and they did better than I thought. Because again, I don't think Belgium really are that good of a team, but they actually showed their stuff a little bit in this game against Spain. But Spain kind of kept cruising. They got it done, and that's what good teams do. They get it done. Spain have of course been a very good team throughout the tournament. Obviously, as we get into the semifinals, I'll talk about it. I think I predicted this game to be 2-0 Spain, so the fact that Belgium did get the goal was pretty good, like pretty impressive. That's impressive in and of itself, right? The fact that they managed to do that much against the very good Spain team. But yeah, they still lost. Spain made it through. It was still relatively comfortable in the end. Again, it was unfortunate that Courtois got injured. I actually didn't see that part. I had to leave. I went to go do something out and about, but Courtois had to leave because he was injured, and then Lamens made the mistake that like he spilled the ball and then Marino got the goal, and it was like, it was kind of a cheap shot. It was kind of a cheap shot, but from what I saw, Spain were kind of like the deserving team in that game anyway. It was just the way that it happened, which was kind of sad. But what are you going to do? There have been a lot of very poor goalkeeping in this tournament. There's been a lot of great goalkeeping. Like the Vozinha story with Cabo Verde, like many other great saves being made throughout this tournament. But there's also been just a lot of just appalling goalkeeping and some very, very bad mistakes from goalies in this tournament as well. But yes, that was the end of the Spain-Belgium game. Norway versus England. They needed extra time for this one. I went bold for this one in my predictions as well. I wanted Norway to win. I didn't want England to win, to be honest. But this was probably the most controversial game of the quarterfinal round. This game and the next game was watched at the cottage. When I went to the cottage with my friends, we took some time, and of course we watched these games, and my friends lost a lot of money on sports betting because the teams that they bet on didn't really do well. I think they bet on Norway to win, but Norway tried. They definitely tried, and they had a goal which was ruled out for kind of a harsh reason. Holland just put a light push in the box. Like, I think it's a foul, but it's a very light foul for their goal that got ruled out. And of course, the main controversy was England's first goal, where like the ball hit the wire or whatever at the top, and the play should have stopped. I mean, I didn't see it. I honestly didn't see it in real time. Like, I didn't catch that when it happened. But then watching it back, I'm like, ooh, like that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And I don't think, like, I think it's just a bad decision. I don't think the goal should stand, but I don't think there's any I don't think there's any conspiracy. Like, I don't think it's like, oh, the refs are trying to let England win. No, I genuinely think like the refereeing in this tournament's just been terrible, just all around in many different games. You can look at so many different examples, not just Argentina, right? Like, those decisions against Egypt were contentious decisions, regardless of what side you're on. But I don't think it was because they were favoring Argentina. I think it was just because it's bad refereeing in the game in general. You can take clips of fouls for both teams in that game that should have been given, yellow cards that should have been given but weren't given in that game. And this decision was just a bad decision. Like, it was pretty clear that you could see by the replay the ball changed directions and because it hit something in the air, which obviously by basic rules you should be stopping the play, right? But it didn't happen that way, and England went on to score. So it's very tough, but I think that's just not a good call. And of course, you can see the Portugal-Croatia game. That had some crazy stuff. First and foremost, the ref letting the game go till 15 minutes for basically no reason, and then Croatia scoring the goal and them ruling it out for the offside because his hair touched the ball. There have been many, many different moments in this tournament where the refereeing has just been terrible. Maybe a couple of harsh red cards that maybe shouldn't have been given throughout the tournament as well. Like, it's just been poor refereeing, just in general. I don't think there's any conspiracy. I don't think anything's being rigged for anyone. I think it has just been just bad refereeing, bad calls being made, bad management of games from the refs, just purely in general. And it's kind of sad. It's sad to see, because I remember in Qatar 2022, the refs were great. Like, the refereeing, they did it. I don't know what they had, but they had it, and it was good. It was very good refereeing throughout that tournament overall in general. Apart from obviously the internet, the internet conspiracies and the penalties for Argentina and all those memes, which were not justified at all. Because I think most of those decisions were correct decisions. But other than that, like, every other game has had were pretty smooth. Was pretty smooth in that tournament. In this tournament, it's not really been the case at all. There have been so many controversial decisions, so many things in different games, not just surrounding one team or the other team. It's just so many different situations that happened that were just kind of crazy. And it has nothing to do with being rigged or being robbed or anything like that for any particular team. It's just purely poor refereeing. And maybe it's the rules. Sometimes it is the rules, because even in the Brazil game against Norway, when Brazil had already lost the game, they were 2-0 down, they gave a very soft penalty in that game too, for something that probably happens all the time in the box. and he's jumping for the ball, and it's like he doesn't really have control over his arms. And I don't think that's a pen. But then of course Neymar had his moment. He was given the pen, and he had his moment. He got his goal, and it was a little bit of a sentimental thing. But still, I think that was a soft pen. You can give so many different examples of things that were just not called right. So is it the rule? Is it the ref? Is it a bit of both? Usually in those situations, it's a bit of both. Is it the VAR? Sometimes the VAR gets involved for things that it shouldn't, but it's just like it's been poor. It's been poor, and you can't really put your finger on it, but it has been very poor. There have been some very bad refereeing, and also like I can go on Canada Morocco game. The ref was giving a foul for every tiny little touch. Morocco player would go down, and the ref calls a foul. Like that's just terrible. That's terrible for the game. That shouldn't be happening, and it just made the game so slow, it's so choppy, and just like we as the Canadian team, we couldn't do anything. You just put your hand on a guy's back, he falls, and the ref gives a foul every single time without fail. So it was sad. It was sad. So there are many games like that. I'm saying, like, my point here is I'm saying that it wasn't just this one thing in the England-Norway game that was controversial. There have been so many little, some bigger, bad refereeing decisions. So that's my take, is that it's just been bad refereeing in general. It has nothing to do with the big conspiracy of it all. No. It's just been pretty consistently bad refereeing in many different games of this tournament. So with that decision, that's how I look at it. And again, with the goal that, like, in the end of the day, England had to go and they had to do what they needed to do, right? Norway, the goalie made the mistake again, right? And Bellingham was there just to sweep it up and score the tap in again in the extra time to give England the win, right? Norway did well, of course. They put up a fight, as I expected them to do, as most people expected them to do. They were definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, the true dark horses of this tournament, and they performed very well. And for them to exit in the quarterfinals with that much of an effort, they should keep their heads held high, of course. So good for them. But yes, England, I think, were always going to be the favorites in that game. And even if there was that controversy, I don't think it was more like it wasn't anything more than just it's just been bad refereeing in the tournament. That's my take on it all. So they managed to win, and again, poor goalkeeping, bad refereeing. That's kind of been the story of the tournament. So, but they got it done. In this game, they got it done, and then the Tuchel interview at the end of the game was something very weird. How he was basically just trash talking his players, and I don't know why he was doing that, but I know he's a very harsh manager. But obviously, we'll get into the semifinals shortly as to what happened there. But in this game, I predicted Norway to win 1-0. Again, it was a bold prediction. It was probably not going to happen, but they tried, and they really gave England a run for their money, and that's good for them. That's all you can really ask for from a team that's really punching above their weight in this tournament, in tournament football, is to give a team a run for their money. Similar to Cabo Verde, right? It's like they're kind of the underdog story of the tournament. They gave Argentina a run for their money. They gave every team they played against a run for their money, and that's really all you can do, right? When you're kind of the underdog, right? Paraguay, same type of thing, right? So that's that game, and let's move on now. Argentina versus Switzerland. Argentina wins the game 3-1 after extra time. So the story of this game, I actually predicted this scoreline perfectly. I didn't predict it to be in extra time, but I predicted 3-1 for Argentina, and it ended up being that. So it was a pretty perfect prediction. The way the game went was a little bit different, but kind of similar to what I was expecting. Argentina actually scored early, which actually hasn't really happened that much in this tournament so far. But then we kind of were a little bit lax. We were a little bit slow. We were a little bit flat. We let Switzerland on us a little bit. And then they had that momentum, and they scored to make it 1-1. And that was the moment where we were like, oh, like, this is not good. Like, we're really messing up here. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's wake up. Like, we're not playing well. We scored the goal, and we just kind of lost the energy, right? That's kind of what happened in this game. And we were not playing well at all. And then the quote unquote controversy, but I don't even think it was a controversy. I think most people recognize just how stupid it was. Like Embolo taking the clearest dive of all time. And the controversy was really around the rule of mistaken identity, which the rule is it's pretty simple, really. It's only applied, and VAR is only allowed to get involved if the ref gave a yellow to the guy for a foul, but reality was it wasn't a foul, it was a clear dive, and that means the simulation should have a yellow card be given to the guy who dived. That was the case that happened. The ref didn't see the dive in real time. He gave Paredes a yellow card for tripping and Bolo, but it didn't happen. It was clearly there was no trip and Bolo just took a jump and a dive. So that's his fault. He was on a yellow card already, and that is his fault. VAR is allowed to get involved in this situation because then in that way the yellow card gets overturned. It's not given to Paredes because it shouldn't be given to him. Instead, it should be given to Embolo for diving. And so, of course, it's a second yellow. So, of course, it's a red card. So then they're down to 10 men. I don't think there's any controversy to it. And I think most people agree. Like on the internet, it wasn't the same as the Egypt thing. I think most people generally agree, apart from like the Argentina haters that just make a living out of just talking trash about them, which is just a sad life for those people, because we're always going to continue to keep winning. So imagine being a Messi hater. It's just kind of a sad experience. You see I Show Speed and how he's just hate watching Messi and how he's just constantly being disappointed because we managed to pull it through every time. But I think that's a clear decision. And then from that moment on, we were just on top of Switzerland. But to be honest, we really didn't threaten for so long. Like in this game, Argentina did not play well. Switzerland had the momentum, but it was that decision that kind of put us back on top. But even still, we were very slow. Like it was very slow in our build-up. We were trying to kind of funnel it centrally, and we weren't using our width enough. And it was just not working. We were trying to just pass it into the net, and it wasn't working. We weren't actually creating that many chances in normal time. So Switzerland, to be fair to them, all credit to them, they were defending pretty well. They had a very compact shape, and it took a long time for us to break it down. And I remember I was at the cottage, and it was super late at night. Everyone just fell asleep. Like all of my friends were just kind of asleep. I was the only one really fully paying attention to the game still, because of course I have my whole passion riding on Argentina because that's my team and that's all I have left in this tournament, right? My friends, they put some sports bets down, and once those bets didn't go through, they just kind of fell asleep. They put their bet for Argentina to win in normal time specifically, which didn't happen. So they didn't make their money, and they lost a lot of money on this trip just in general. But for a long part of that, it looked like we were going to go to penalties, and it was very nerve-wracking, kind of as it's been throughout the tournament for Argentina. And this time it wasn't Messi. It wasn't Messi that was the guy that made it happen. And it wasn't going to be, because every time he'd get the ball, he'd have two Swiss players on him, right? So even as good of a player as Messi is, it wasn't working. At this point, we were at the stage in the game where we weren't really creating those chances. It had to be a moment of quality from someone else. And boy, oh boy, did Julian Alvarez do it. Did he ever decide to put out one of the greatest strikes of the tournament in the moment where it mattered most? And he did it, and it was amazing, and it happened, and this team showed yet again just the mentality that they have. They leave it late. They really give their fans some heart attacks, but they make it happen. And that's what they've been doing all tournament. And in this game, they did it again. And then, of course, the Swiss had to kind of press forward a little bit, and then we scored off the counterattack to make it 3-1 Lautaro Martinez. And from that point, it was secured, set, and sealed. We were going to go to the semifinals. In the end, they ended up pulling it through, but it was up until the 110th minute, it was not looking good. It was not looking like they were going to do anything. They weren't creating that many chances, considering how much possession they had, how on top of the Swiss they were, having a man extra. But finally, a moment of quality happened. They made it happen, and that made them advance. So I think the controversy wasn't much of a controversy. I think it was a clear-cut decision, and I think it was the correct decision, of course. But for Argentina, that's the mark of champions. When you don't really play well, but you still manage to make it happen, you have that quality that sees you through and it gets you over the line. That was really shown in this game against the Swiss. And of course, it was shown in the semis as well, which I will be moving on towards. I'll be transitioning towards and talking about right now. So we got the two semifinal games and some interesting storylines in those games as well. You had France and Spain and England and Argentina. France versus Spain. These were big semifinals, right? Four nations that were very, very high, prestigious nations when it comes to the world of football. So very, 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 very good semifinals, right? Like unlike the last couple of World Cups where there was always at least one upset, right? 2018 was Croatia, 2022 was Morocco. So this one, it was like the teams that you expected to get there are there, and that's where we're at, right? France versus Spain was actually very surprising. Like full credit to Spain. Spain just kind of made France look like nothing. Like they made all of their guys that were just destroying the tournament throughout up until this point. They just literally stifled them. They literally, what's the word? They literally just, I'm trying to find the word to describe what they did. But they basically just stopped them entirely. Like they just defended, and their attackers Mbappe, Barcola, Doué, Olise, they couldn't do anything. And Dembele, they were literally ghosts throughout the game. Spain they just kept the ball. They just did what they normally did. They got their 2 goals, and sure it was their only 2 shots on target, but like it was just the perfect game plan from start to finish. And they really just stopped France entirely, and they made France look very, very flat. And from a France perspective, it's a very flat performance from them, and Spain are deserving to go into the final. Good for them, right? And I predicted it. So I'm the only one that predicted Spain to actually win this game. Everyone was like, "Oh, France are just gonna go win the whole tournament, right?" But Spain, like they maybe aren't as flashy. For sure, they're definitely not as flashy, but they get the job done, and it's very professional in the way they do it. And it was yet again the case with this game too. So yeah, like fair play to them. They're in the final, and they deserve to be in the final. They've only conceded 1 goal all tournament, and even that was kind of a surprise. I didn't expect it to happen. So it's like if Belgium didn't score, they would have gone the whole tournament without conceding a goal, which is just crazy, right? More under the radar than France's electric attacking play, but Spain's approach kind of defeated France in all aspects of the game. So France are out. France are going to the third place game, and Spain are going to the final. And in the second game, England versus Argentina, this was a bit of a scrap. It was a bit of a scrappy game. But to be fair to the ref in this game, the ref I think did a good job in this game. The ref called fouls both ways, gave yellow cards both ways. Like actually Argentina suffered more fouls than England. Like the ref was very fair. I don't think there were any real controversies in this game, and I think pretty much everything that was a foul was a foul. Everything that was a yellow card was a yellow card, like for the most part. I don't think there was anything crazy that happened. It was a rough game. Both teams were pretty rough. Obviously, Argentina are always going to be rough because that's the way we play. We have that passion. We have that desire. And England kind of were also pretty rough in and of themselves as well. To their own standards, were pretty rough as well. But England scored with basically their only shot on target. And it was really like a smash and grab thing. But it was a pretty even game. Like England had their possession. They kind of created those half chances. And then we had our possession, created our half chances for 50 minutes in that game. Then England scored the goal. And that's when the game turned. And everyone blames it on Thomas Tuchel's tactics. And, I mean, I can't really disagree. But, of course, I'm also very happy as an Argentina fan that it ended up being that way. Where they scored the goal, then they just sat back the rest of the game for half an hour, keeping the lead and putting defensive players on. And you know how in football that never works, right? Whenever you go and you sit defensively, always something's going to happen. And you just felt it. Argentina actually played well in this game. The difference between the Swiss game and this game was against the Swiss, we were like just passing the ball. We weren't really creating chances. Against England, we were creating the chances. Just time after time, shot after shot. And it really felt like it was only a matter of time before we actually broke through. Even after they had like 6 defenders on. Dan Burn was on the field. It only felt like a matter of time that we were going to break through. And of course, Messi making it happen again. Right, so England sat back. It was poor tactics from Tuchel. I don't think it was the right decision. I don't think anyone really thinks it was the right decision. So he's kind of got egg on his face a little bit right here, especially after he was very heavily critical of England with a very weird interview at the end of the Norway game. But like man, Argentina, man, they really are the comeback kings. They really have that mentality this tournament. They have the winner's mentality. They have that mindset. Even when they're down, they're never out of the game. And even if they always manage to go down, they always manage to find a way to win it back. And they always find a way to get the goals and make it happen. This time it was Messi. He was the one. He got 2 assists, and he really did make it happen, right? He made it happen. He didn't score the goal, but he made it happen. But we had chances, right? McAllister hit the post. Pickford had to make a couple of good saves. And then finally, Messi with an amazing play off of the corner. Short corner to DePaul. DePaul back to Messi. He's onside. Barely, by the way. Barely onside. Like, closer than you might have thought in real time. But yes, he was onside, and he does so well. He waits for the players to come to him, and then he releases Enzo in the space, and Enzo with a beautiful, brilliant strike, 1-1. And it was amazing to see that goal go in. But that goal was made by Messi, because if Messi makes that, I just want to stress this, if Messi makes that pass, like a few seconds earlier, there will be an England guy on Enzo with pressure, and Enzo won't have the space to take the shot. But Messi, he waits purposefully to drag the man towards him. And then he has 2 guys on him, and then he releases Enzo, and Enzo has this time and space to take the shot, and he scores beautifully. So, that is Messi making the space for Enzo, and Enzo, of course, being the guy that makes it happen as well. But it was only a matter of time. We were really piling on the pressure on top of England, and we finally got the goal. It was a bit later than maybe we would have wanted, but we finally got the goal. And then, of course, McAllister hit the post, and then Messi gets the ball. He has space, so he comes in, puts in a dime, a beauty of a cross, and Lautaro just has to guide the header into the net, and boom, 2-1. You don't even need extra time. And when we scored that first goal, we were just on top. We continued to be on top. We continued to put the pressure on. They continued to sit back, England, and they paid the price. They paid the ultimate price. They lost 2-1. Not even needing extra time. So at the end of the day, and even after we scored, England didn't really threaten at all. They didn't threaten our net at all. It would literally just be ball in the box, we would clear it. Ball in the box, we'd clear it. Ball in the box, we'd clear it for 5 to 7 minutes. And at the end of the game, we were just locked in. We just locked up. Otamendi, he came on and he just locked it up. Won every header, every challenge that he could have won in those final minutes of the game to secure the victory. But yeah, Argentina they're definitely leaving it late, but they proved that they can do it against a good team too. In England. England are a quality side. I think it was bad tactics from Tuchel, but at the end of the day, you have to capitalize. And we definitely did capitalize. So it's really going to be all hands on deck when we get to Sunday, when we get to the final. Spain versus Argentina. I predicted this final. Even when I predicted Morocco and Norway to beat France and England in the quarters, and those obviously were bolder predictions. I predicted Spain-Argentina final in the end anyway, when I predicted it around the quarterfinal time last week. So that was credit to me because I predicted it and it was right. So we will see what happens in the final. But yes, Argentina just continue to go and make it happen and all sorts of celebrations and parties. I'm not going to be the type of guy to celebrate and party until we actually win and we bring the cup home. I'm not going to celebrate a semifinal win. As fun as it was to beat England, and there was, even you could tell, they were booing the national anthem and stuff. We were both booing the national anthems. There was that rivalry there, of course. But anyone that bets against Argentina right now has been truly disappointed and has realized, been humbled to the fact, we just have that difference factor. His name is Leo Messi, of course. Right? And he is still the best in the world at 39 years old, which is just amazing, and it's insane to see. I would have never thought that we would have made it this far when this tournament started, because we were literally running it back. Everyone's 4 years older, and pretty much the team's exactly the same, minus a few players. We're running it back, and it's Nico Paz. We're not even playing Nico Paz, which is one of the youngsters that is coming in, the new guys. But everyone's just 4 years older, so I was like, are we really going to do it, right? But boy, oh boy, have they proven me wrong. It's been a very rocky road. It's been very tough, and we've had to dig deep. But that's the mark of champions. That is that mentality that you never give up even when you're down. Even when you're 2-0 down to Egypt. Even when you're having to struggle against Cabo Verde. Even when you're struggling against 10-man Switzerland. And when you're down against a good team in England. Not once did we ever lose that confidence. And against Switzerland, it had to be someone different, but against England, it was Messi again being the difference maker. And we will see truly what happens in the final. But something that was interesting is during my predictions, I successfully predicted one team's score in every game. I didn't predict the results every time, but I predicted France to get 2 goals against Morocco, but I predicted Morocco to get 2 as well. I predicted Spain to get 2 against Belgium, but I didn't predict Belgium to get the goal. I predicted Norway to get a goal against England, but I predicted Norway to win 1-0. And I predicted the exact scoreline: Argentina Switzerland 3-1. I predicted I predicted Spain to get 2 goals, but I also predicted for it to be Morocco, and I predicted the score to be 2-1, but instead of 2-0, which is just kind of crazy that France really just rolled over and died in that game. And in England Argentina, I predicted Argentina to get 2 goals, and again, I thought it would be against Norway, but I predicted it to be 2-0 instead of 2-1. So I predicted at least one team's correct score, but the other team not so much. So yes, the bold predictions didn't go through, but I definitely successfully predicted the final 2 teams, which not a lot of people really predicted. Like I had some people were predicting France-England in the final, and it's like, well, yes, you couldn't be more wrong. France versus England is going to be the third place game. I'm not really going to talk too much about the third place game, other than the fact that I think France will win it, just because England, as much as I don't like France, I think France will just dominate, and England will just kind of be there depressed and sad again, which is what they have been doing. Every time they say it's coming home, they're just kind of cursed at this point, really. So I think in the third place game, it's not really that important. I think France will win. And that means France they finished first in the World Cup, then they finished second in the World Cup, then they finished third in the World Cup. They did all 3 if they do go and they win that third place game. But that's not what's important. What's important is the final, which is on Sunday. Spain versus Argentina. It's going to be a good match. It's going to be, maybe it's not going to be as good as the 2022 World Cup final, but that was probably one of the best finals we've ever seen in the World Cup, just point blank. So I don't think it's going to be that good. And it can be anything, man. I'm just going to preface my prediction for the World Cup final with the fact that it can be anything. It can go either way. It can be like a 1-0 game. It can be 2-1. It can be a tie game. It can really be like another 2-2 or 3-3 game that goes to penalties. Like, I think it's going to be a 1-goal game. I don't think anyone's going to run away with it, right? Because even if Spain are a good team, Argentina have that mentality. And even if Spain score a goal, we will constantly put the pressure on, and we will have chances to tie the game. And we will have the chances to come back and make it happen. But Spain have the quality as well. So honestly, when I talk about this prediction, I'm not very confident with this prediction. It couldn't be absolutely anything. It can go either way. But I'm going to go bold. And I'm going to say Argentina wins 3-2 after extra time. Of course, I'm going to predict Argentina to win. That's heavily biased because I'm a fan. That's my heritage. That's my country. That's what I'm cheering for. So I hope they win. It's just a matter of, do I think it's going to be that good of a game where we win 3-2 after extra time specifically? 2-2 at the end of the 90 minutes is my prediction. It'll be maybe like a back and forth thing. Maybe we score first, then Spain score again, then we score. I think it may be a back and forth thing, an entertaining game. I'm going for the more entertaining type of thing. But then in extra time, we have that moment of quality that separates the 2 teams. It is always going to be that moment of quality in this type of a game where it's such high quality football being played that separates the teams, and it'll be 3-2. After extra time, we won't need penalties again. I was kind of thinking, 2-2 and then we win on penalties is not a bad prediction, but would it really be back-to-back penalty shootouts in the World Cup? I just don't think that's that likely. I definitely thought of it. I definitely considered it for sure, like a penalty shootout. Obviously, Spain can, of course, win, but I'm not going to predict Spain to win. That's not on the cards for me, being an Argentinian fan. So, I think we're going to go a little bold. We're going to go on the entertaining side. It can be like a 0-0 draw, too. It can be like a 1-0 or a 1-1. But I'm going on the entertaining side. After 90 minutes, the game will end 2-2, and Argentina will get their goal and win 3-2 after extra time. That's kind of been the storyline throughout the World Cup, and it feels like a prediction that is obvious a little bit, but I'm not really confident, because I think the obvious things don't usually happen. And so because of that, I'm not really too confident about it, but that's going to be the prediction I stick with. That's going to be what I go with for this game. And it's just kind of in hope as well that the game is an entertaining game, and that, of course, Argentina comes out on top, and that Messi wins his back-to-back World Cups at age 39. And if that happens, man, bro deserves to retire. He deserves to just say, hey, I'm done. Let me just go and enjoy the rest of my life on the beach in Miami, and just chill, right? He deserves to do that, especially after the crazy performances he's done in this World Cup at 39 years old. He deserves to just get a pina colada, get your mate, and just chill on the beach or in your pool, in your mansion for the rest of your life and just live just a good life. He deserves that after all of the work he's put in 2022 and in 2026, of course, to end his career on top and continue with this legacy that he has. But yeah, like it's truly spectacular to see that this is happening. But Argentina really are making it to the final. So that's gonna happen. Saturday, the third place game. I think France will win. I'm just gonna throw a scoreline out there just for fun, like 2-0 France, and Argentina will win 3-2 after extra time against Spain in the final. Argentina will win that gold medal. They will lift that trophy. They will get that back to back. They will be successful in running it back. It's hopeful, it's optimistic, it's biased, but that is what I'm going with, and that's really the only thing I can go with being an Argentina supporter. If it doesn't happen, even finishing second is such a good feat, and even finishing second, Messi definitely deserves to call it a day, right? Definitely deserves to just go and relax and enjoy the rest of his life without the stresses of football being on him. Because of the effort he's put in this tournament. Messi's pretty much already guaranteed to win the Golden Boot, the Golden Ball, all that stuff. Because he's tied on goals with Mbappe, but now he has more assists than Mbappe, and that will be the difference maker when it comes to actually getting the Golden Boot, which is for the goals scored, and of course Golden Ball for best player. He'll get all of it. Of course he'll get all of it, even if they lose in the final. So he's done his part. Now it's just a question of can they get it over the line. I think they will get it over the line, but Spain's a good team. You shouldn't underestimate them. Spain have definitely they've definitely merited being here, right? They're definitely worth what was put on them for this tournament, and they definitely deserve to be in the final of the World Cup. So never count them out. Of course, never count them out. But I'm going for my guys at Argentina, and I'm going for we're really running it back, and we're going the back-to-back. Again, it's bold, but that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. So that's it for the World Cup. I will be back here talking and analyzing the final when it happens, when it is over, at the end of the World Cup, when it is all said and done. And then I'll kind of go through like a overall World Cup review as well, when it's all said and done as well at the end of the final. But until then, those are my predictions. Those are my reviews. That's my take on all of the controversy on all of the games that has happened in the World Cup so far, in the quarters, the semis, and leading up to the final. I hope you enjoyed it. I try my best to kind of touch upon every topic that is really supposed to be touched upon when it came to all that was happening in the World Cup. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you definitely were entertained by this stuff, and I hope that this World Cup was good entertainment value for you, regardless of whatever team you're cheering on for, regardless of what position you are in. I hope that it has been an entertaining World Cup, and I hope this summer has been a good summer for you as well. You know, here's to continuing forward with that. As we have the final of the World Cup, and as we have the summer still continuing to go on and being good and being fun. So that's all I got to say for today. That is really all I got. So thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, and if you are still here watching, I ask that you show your support. Showing that you enjoyed this episode by liking the video, by subscribing if you haven't yet, following the show on Spotify if you haven't done that yet. Those are things that you can do, and leaving a comment letting me know what you thought of the tournament, what you thought of the games, what happened to your team, things that maybe you thought were good or bad about the tournament and about these last rounds of the World Cup. Let me know. These are ways that you can show your support, show that you truly enjoy this content, show that you truly enjoy the stuff that I'm putting out and this podcast that I make every single day, 365 days, every day I put an episode out, and I hope that this video was good and entertaining for you as well. So thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. Show your support in any way that you can. I appreciate you for being here. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. And I'm going to wrap it up right now. Without further ado, there was a period in the show where I was just saying that at the end of every episode, but that's something you should say at the beginning of the episode, not at the end. But no, I'm just going to wrap it up now. So, as always, continue to glorify God every day throughout your life, and I will see you tomorrow for the next episode of 365 Podcast.